Fellas, what is going on? Happy Monday and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We are finally back to the NBA games. We have a showdown slate tonight, the start of the conference semifinal, or excuse me, the conference finals. We have the Lakers versus Denver, and on the opposite side, we have the Heat versus the Celtics. So tonight we have Lakers versus Denver, showdown slate here on DraftKings 150K at first. I'll be talking through my favorite captain plays as well as my favorite utility plays, going over my early little core plays, and we'll get into this breakdown right now. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Check out my Twitter at HeartDFS, and we'll get into this breakdown. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at HeartDFS. And then a quick recap of my lineup from the other day. I took one night off, and so I haven't posted in like 2 days because of that. But I did play the previous night, and my core plays for Patreon, which you can find linked down below, were Jalen Brunson, Austin Reeves, Kyle Lowry, and Steph Curry. So they are all fantastic. We got 51 from Brunson, we got almost 40 there from Reeves, 37 from Kyle Lowry, and then 51 from Steph. So the core plays were fantastic last slate there for us on Patreon. And then I filled it in with Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Draymond Green, and Kevin Love. So yeah, I actually had an okay night. Didn't obviously win a ton of money, but I did finish in the top like 5% of all the lineups across the board for all the contests. So that was pretty nice to see. The core plays were on fire. So looking to continue that into tonight's showdown slate. Starting off here with the Lakers side, we'll just go through everyone's price points from each team and then go over my favorite captain plays and utility plays. So starting off with the Lakers side here, we have Anthony Davis and LeBron James at the top. Anthony Davis 11.6. I mean, it's a solid price tag. Actually, I want to see what the price tags across the board are. Jokic 12.8, 80 11.6, LeBron, Jamal Murray. Okay. So on this Lakers side here, we have 80 at the top, 11.6. It's just gonna be interesting to see how the matchups work out between the Lakers and the Nuggets. Like they haven't played in forever. AD and Jokic haven't matched up in a good amount of time, so it will be interesting to see how they kind of handle each other. So obviously for the Lakers side, if you guys are looking for who's who has the ability to be a captain, it's going to be obviously Anthony Davis. It's going to be LeBron James, and I don't know if they do have another person who can be that like lower that cheaper captain play you can go with. Maybe Austin Reeves if he goes for 45, like 50, sure, that would get you there. Like that would definitely be. I don't know if he'd be the most optimal, but he'd be one of the top like three if that happens. Same with D'Lo, but like it's hard to really trust those two just because the offense only goes through AD and LeBron. Like sure, we've seen games where D'Lo or Reeves go for like 35 to 40, but it's very few games that happen. So I think on the Lakers side right now, you just kind of stick with LeBron and Anthony Davis in the captain spot, and then leave everyone else for the utility plays. Sorry, my chair is just falling down on me. It's breaking. But as I mentioned, yeah, I think on the Lakers side, really, it's only going to be Anthony Davis and LeBron James that have that upside enough to be the optimal captain. I think they both look great as utility plays as well. I think it is pretty easy to get to one of them. Now, I don't know if I'd play both of them. Just because there's been times where one has a good game, the other doesn't. LeBron's been very like consistent and steady, floating between like 40 to 45 fantasy points pretty much every playoff game. Finally had a good game that last game, went for 60, but I don't know. It's like he's still really good, but at the same time, it's like he kind of takes plays off, takes series like a couple of minutes off, and it's just like I don't know. It's sometimes hard to trust LeBron. I think I'd rather take a shot on him in the utility spot than captain and leave AD as pretty much the only captain play for me on the Lakers side. Reeves, Russell in the mid range here. They both look like solid utility spot plays. I still think I'd prefer getting to Reeves over Russell, just because I think he's a little bit more consistent just in terms of his playmaking ability. You know, getting rebounds, getting assists, and if he scores, we know he has pretty solid upside. So I think he's a solid utility spot play. Same thing with Russell. It really just comes down to ownership. Like if people are going to flock to Reeves, then I go to Russell. If people are going to flock to Russell, I go to Reeves. If they're kind of about even, you know, within 10%, I think I just prefer Reeves over Russell. But they're both solid plays there in utility spot. Schroeder, I doubt he starts. This it's not him starting was because there's a good matchup against the Golden State Warriors. You know, the Warriors are small. Looney's the biggest guy, like 6'9", and he's coming off the bench. So it's Draymond Green 6'6", starting center. So obviously Dennis Schroeder had that ability to start and play well against all the guards on Golden State. It's a little bit of a different story here. You have Jamal Murray, who's like what 6'3", 6'4", and then you have MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Jokic, and KCP, they're all 6'5" for KCP. MPJ is what 6'10", Gordon's 6'10", Jokic is 7 foot. So it's just like I don't see there being a path to Dennis Schroeder getting the same minutes that he did last series. So for that reason, at this price tag, it's too hard for me to trust. I just don't think there's a need to get to him right now. Lonnie Walker, I think it's a little bit easier to get to him over Schroeder just because Lonnie Walker's a taller person. He's bigger than Schroeder. So for that reason, I think you can go to him. I still don't feel great about it. It's just one of those things. I want to kind of see what the rotation is going to be like for the Lakers here because they're going to have to play taller guys. Like I think they're going to have to go to Rui a little bit more just because they need the size off the bench, right? Like they're able to go small against the Warriors, and they're not able to do that against the Nuggets for this series. So I do think we can expect more Rui. Coming off a solid game there in that last game, it's just sometimes he's not really involved, but we know he has upside there, and I do think they need his scoring and his size off the bench. So I do like Rui a good amount tonight as a utility spot play for a cheaper option. I do think we can see some win in. I don't think there's if you absolutely needed like a dart throw guy in the 3K range, sure you can land on him. Maybe he plays 5 to 10 minutes, but I don't trust it. I do think they will go back to Vanderbilt. They will need his size. So at 2,600, I think he gets back to like around 15 minutes, maybe closer to 20. I think he's a valuable value play down there. And that's really it. They don't really have like too many people they can bring off the bench. Like Mo Bama's out. He could have been a candidate to take a shot on. So right now, the cheaper plays, I do really like Rui down there, and I do like Vanderbilt to be coming off the bench there as both like very solid value play utility plays. On the Nuggets side here, Jokic 12-8. It's one of those things that if you don't play him as a captain, it's going to be hard not to play him as a utility. Like fully fading Jokic is scary, and it's hard to do because he does literally everything. He's been averaging like 75 fantasy points a game. So fading him, it's just like I don't know. You're really hoping for him to go for 45 fantasy points. Maybe the Lakers do that today. Maybe they stop him. Maybe they're able to double team him to the point where it's like he's not scoring much. He's just kind of rebounding and getting assists. But still, we know the upside with him is massive. He looks obviously like the most optimal captain play of the day. But if he only goes for like 55 or less, that does bring in an opportunity for guys like 80, LeBron, um, Murray, Porter Jr., even Aaron Gordon, possibly like a Reeves to be an optimal captain if they have a really solid game. So if you don't go with Jokic captain, you're really hoping one of your other captain plays is within like 10 fantasy points of them. And then it would obviously pay off that you have those captains over Jokic. So that's my thoughts there. Obviously, Jokic looks fantastic. I do think the Lakers will try to double team him more, and make him just become more of a passer, more of a rebounder. Um, but we'll have to wait and see. I do love Jamal Murray. I think he's my favorite captain play right now. We know the upside with him. Like he can go for 45 and even 50 plus. And he's been pretty solid in the playoffs, even coming off that illness game there in a blowout. 35, still went for 45 and a half fantasy points. So I do really like Jamal Murray. I think matchup wise, it's like I do think they will sell out to stop Excuse me. They will sell out to stop Jokic. And I don't know who's going to go guard Jamal Murray. Like you have 80 on Jokic. You have what? LeBron on Aaron Gordon. Who's going to be guarding MPJ? Vanderbilt? Like I don't know who they're going to put on Jamal Murray, but I think it's a great, great, great matchup here. Should be a great series for Jamal Murray to really, really take over. So right now, I'm going to throw him in my captain spot there. But yeah, I'm loving the matchup for Jamal Murray. He should have a huge, huge series. He's still, they said questionable with the onus, but I think he's good to go. I mean, he had it, 5 days ago? Still put up 45 and a half, unless it got worse, which we obviously won't get that news. Then I guess it's slightly risky, but I think he's good to go and should be playing his full minutes. MPJ, he's another guy who could be a captain play. As we can see, he does have the ability to go for 40 plus. It really depends on if he's hitting shots. Like if he has that ability. You really need that double double as well. It's hard because Jokic is there, Aaron Gordon's there. They're both solid rebounders. Even Jamal Murray, solid rebounder. So I think it's definitely risky, but I think he's more of a solid utility play than a captain play. Same with Aaron Gordon. He's going to be more of the lower owned guys in that mid range there, 6,800. I like him. I think just like Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon has a really, really, really good opportunity here to have some really solid games just because of the size difference between Denver versus the Lakers. So I do think Aaron Gordon can take advantage of that. And I do think he has enough to be a captain. But it's if you're making a single entry lineup or you're only making like three, I don't think you go to Aaron Gordon on one of them. I just think it's a very strong utility spot play. KCP, 5,800 or 5,600, excuse me. A little too expensive for me. You know, the past 2 games, he went for 26, only shooting 1 of 6 and playing 27 minutes, and then he went for 38, 7, 11. Probably his best game all season there, that last game. So, I don't trust it. I mean, we know he's upside into the mid to high 20s, and that's really it. Otherwise, he's usually floating between, like, 10 to 20 fantasy points. So he's just a little bit too cheap for me, a little bit too, volatile to get to him there at 5,600. And I think a lot of the field will think the same way on that. So, yeah, not a lot of interest for me for KCP. Bruce Brown, I do have interest in him. It's one of those guys, you know, he can stuff the stat sheet. He should be playing low to high 20s minutes, depending on if someone gets in foul trouble. He can play even into the 30s. So I do like him there at 5,200. A very solid play. And then there's a big drop off. There's really no value plays for the Nuggets. I mean, Jeff Green plays 15 to 20 minutes, but he's not been very productive. This could be a series though where he does have some more ability to have a better series here, but still don't love that. Don't love Christian Brown. Just not very involved. It's really just kind of the main 4 guys, and that's it for the Nuggets. So in terms of captains, as I mentioned, it's you feel good with Jokic, you feel good with AD, you feel good with LeBron, you feel good with Jamal Murray, and then from there it's really a big drop off. The next group of range of guys, it's like sure Reeves, Russell, MPJ, and Gordon, they all have the ability to go for like 40 or more fantasy points. But it's like, if that happens, you're really banking on the fact that Jokic, LeBron, AD, Jamal Murray, all of them go for like maybe 55 fantasy points or less. Like it's just kind of like a slow paced game. People are doing solid, but no one's really going off. Like Jokic is not going for 70 plus because if Jokic is going for 65 plus on the slate, there's really no one that's going to be able to keep up with them unless it's AD. And so that's kind of my thoughts there. But yeah, right now, love Jamal Murray as a captain play. I'm not going to, I will have my updated, final core play look on my Patreon link down below. But right now, I really like Jamal Murray in the captain spot. For the utility spot, um, I do like Aaron Gordon a good amount. And I do like getting to AD there. Can we fit in Jokic? 2,500 left over. No, not really. So, gonna have to make some decisions there. Maybe we could drop off Aaron Gordon. 3,900 left over. Still hard to fit him in. So, yeah, gonna have to make a decision there. But we'll go back to corporate. We'll go Jamal Murray. We'll go AD. And I do really like Aaron Gordon. And I do really like getting down to um, actually, we'll just go to Bruce Brown instead of Aaron Gordon for right now. And I do like Rui and Vanderbilt as some solid value plays down below. But right now, we'll just throw in, we'll just go with these three. Jamal Murray, Anthony Davis, Jokic. I do really like Bruce Brown. I do really like Aaron Gordon. So I don't know if I'm going to, go with these 3 players, but this is kind of the early look core play of kind of how I want to attack the slate. It's really hard not to get to Jokic and Jamal Murray. And then if you're doing that, it's hard to get to one of the studs on the Lakers side, but you kind of need to. So that's what makes it hard is that, there's really no one under 4,000 you feel great about on this slate. So yeah, those are the thoughts for today. I hope you guys liked the video. If you do, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.